Welcome back. Here we are, fantasy football Jibber Jabber week 9. Dude, we are at the halfway point already in this season. Boom, blink by, and here we go. Been a pretty damn successful run here with the money, my friend. How about you? What say you at this halfway point? Any special tidbits, any notes you want to make so far here?
Last week with the fantasy picks. Last week absolutely destroyed the lock of the week. That was who was it? I texted you. Who was the
Cooper Kupp.
Who?
Cooper Kupp.
Cooper Kupp had 50 points in my big money league. He had 35 of those points at halftime, and he had didn't even play the fourth quarter. That was a layup with the Bengals too, huh? That was a layup, the easiest 10-point spread cover of all time.
Yeah, I don't know. They were kind of close in the beginning. In fact, I did tease the Rams down to 6. So I at least had some room. But I tell you what I did take. I took the Cincinnati team total under 17.5. So at halftime when they had 10, I was like, shit, this is probably broken. And they did it. So, and I also had the Giants as another Patreon pick.
Backdoor.
Ooh, baby. Backdoor Central. That was fantastic. Let me tell you, man, they were trying to give that one away, and they somehow snatched a backdoor from the jaws of defeat. My picks were okay. I actually pushed them. I had Chris Carson push. My best pick was Tyler Lockett. I had a couple no's, but I tell you what I did kill is my hot trash. I went 4-1, and of course, the only person I screwed up on, Joe Mixon, the guy I've hated on weeks, who actually had a pretty decent game. On the bets, I went 2-1 with us, and then 5-2 overall. The lock of last week I think I had was the Seattle Rams teaser and the Dolphins plus a 14.5. What did I tell you? I was laughing my balls off when they were up 14-0 to start the game, and then they made it very interesting in the end. That is for sure, but they still covered on that Monday night. So 5-2 last week. That makes me a league for the year 31-18. That's 63% against the spread. Not a bad run. And cold cash quarterback for yours truly. I've got your guy from last week, Matt Stafford, the garbage time king. Money, like I said, against a Giants defense who showed about as much life as a worker at the DMV. 28 points in his last 3 out of 4. And Oakland quarterbacks have allowed at least 27 points in their last 4 to quarterbacks. Matt Stafford, $6,800 on DraftKings. I love him this week.
Big fan. Also like Dak Prescott going up against the worst secondary the New York Giants have ever had. Torched the Giants in week 1, and their defense is somehow worse here in week 9. He's expensive this week. It's $7,800 on DraftKings. But he is the 5th highest rated passer in the NFL. Dallas is having a sneaky good offensive season. A lot of people look at Dallas, and they look at that defense, and they look at the 3-game winning streak, the 3-game losing streak. They don't realize Dallas 5th in the NFL in rushing yards, 5th in the NFL in passing yards, 4th in the NFL in total yards per game. That offense is humming. Dak Prescott is as efficient as ever, and he goes up against absolutely horrid Giants secondary. 7,800, love Dak Prescott in the Meadowlands facing the New York Giants.
Yeah, and he also gets Cooper and Michael Gallup at full health after that bye last week as well. So I'm actually was supposed to go to the game, and I'm not going to the game. So
yeah, I don't think that's a game to go to.
No, and not with all those obnoxious asshole Dallas fans, especially after we get torched. My running back, cold cash player of the week, I've got Mark Ingram for $5,900. $131 for Nick Chubb last week, but 2 awful fumbles against a solid Pats D. Frank Gore had over 100 yards against the Pats D rushing. Le'Veon Bell had 70 yards rushing against them. Mark Ingram is 12 PPR in his last 3 out of 5. A steal for $5,900, which is much less than his old man stole, by the way.
My lock running back this week is a Kevin Goatee favorite. He's 5th. He's 5th overall right now, so maybe this is cheating. But Chris Carson versus Tampa Bay. Love Chris Carson versus Tampa Bay. 8,200 projected at 16.4 points. Tampa Bay's defense, we've long documented, is pretty terrible. Even it's actually better than it was last year, but it's still pretty terrible. I believe this is going to be a high-scoring affair, Kevin.
I'm going to take someone else on Seattle this time, though, as wide receiver, and that is DK Metcalf, $5,700. Why not go with the guy who leads the NFL in red zone targets? Tampa Bay, 2nd most receptions allowed to wide receivers. He only had 2 catches last week, but you know what? They both went for touchdowns. So
one of my preseason sleepers of the year, DK Metcalf.
Yeah, it's funny. They use oh damn it, Lockett to stretch the field, and then they find Metcalf right there in the red zone. That you think that someone would figure out that little formula instead of these two armchair, guys like you and I doing it. But yeah,
you can figure it out all you want, dude. He's still 6'5", 235 pounds.
Yeah, man, he's a beast.
Yeah, you got Russell Wilson, man, accurate passer. That's going to be good for years to come. I really, really like that.
Yeah. What do you got?
Speaking of like that, I love. Take your pick. Godwin and Evans. Staying in the same game. Don't care about the weather. Matt frickin' Schaub threw for 500 yards against the Seattle secondary last week. Famous Jameis Winston is going to air it out. You can go with Godwin. You can go with Evans. I think they're both going to be good this week. Pin me down on one, I'd go with Godwin because he's just going to get the volume.
He's been he's been quiet of late. Evans is getting the lion's share and blowing up. So I think it's time that they pass the torch with that one. All right, here we go. Tight end, cold cash. I've got Darren Fells for a measly $4,000. 7th most yards per reception allowed by the Jags, and no Will Fuller this week in London. Darren Fells, he had 2 touchdowns last week. Let's keep that train rolling. Even though Deshaun Watson's got an eye problem that kept him from throwing out the first pitch at the World Series. What the hell? All right, whatever, dude. Darren Fells for $4,000. Why not?
Why not? Darren Fells, great value. Waller's going for $6,800, and per our rules for this show, you can't use Waller because Waller is number 3 overall right now. But
who's ahead of him? That's the I can't think of a tight end who besides Kittle's of late, but it ain't Ertz, it ain't Kelsey. Who's better than Waller this year?
It's Kelsey. Kelsey is number 1,
right?
And it's hold on here
because he's been really quiet of late. Unless I've missed something, Kelsey
Andrews is number 2. I'll cheat and I'll go outside the top 5, even though he's probably the second best in the entire league. I'm going to go with Zach Ertz versus Chicago this week, $6,000. Zach Ertz, Chicago's defense is just absolutely phenomenal. You cannot throw the deep ball on them. So what happens when you can't throw the deep ball? Intermediate passes, middle of the field. Who's intermediate passes, middle of the field? Zach Ertz. They actually cover the tight end well. They're the 5th best, they're the 4th best in the league against the tight end. So this is a little bit of a tough one. But Zach Ertz right now is the 7th tight end off the board. I feel like that's pretty good. I feel like that's pretty good value.
Wow.
It's $300 less than Evan Ingram, $700 less than Kelsey, $1,200 less than $1,200 less than George Kittle, $800 less than Waller, $500 less than Adams.
Thank God we didn't tape yesterday. I was going to say Tevin Coleman was going to light it up and then run down to Arizona State for some whoring, but that did not happen, obviously. Matt Breida was supposed to dodge a bullet and not play, but he did. He took all the touches away.
Tempe whoring, man. Mill Ave in Tempe is about as much fun as a human being should be allowed to have. I absolutely love Le'Veon Bell, Miami, projected 15.5, $7,000. Pretty expensive for Le'Veon Bell, but 2 things happen this week that you got to love. One, they play the Dolphins, and the Dolphins have given up a ton of points to running backs especially. Number 2, he had the famous heart-to-heart with the coach about his usage, which means give me the goddamn football, which he's going to do. So I think you're going to get a lot of Le'Veon Bell, and a lot can go a long way against Miami. I like Le'Veon Bell. This might be the only week all year I like him. It's costing you $500 more than Austin Eckler, $500 more than Melvin than DJ Shark. It's good value. Michael Gallup is $200 less than Le'Veon Bell. I think Le'Veon Bell's going to have a monster week against Miami.
Not a bad call at all. Time for the old hot trash. All right. Baker Mayfield, $5,100. Here's a number for you, 12.3. No, not the number of inches in my pants. It's of my hemorrhoid. No. Baker's average fantasy quarterback points per game is 12.3. He's terrible this year. Denver has allowed the 3rd fewest points to quarterbacks and has allowed just 1 to score 20 or more. Not good. I hate Baker Mayfield, and I hate him in all his commercials, and I hate how he's a little bitch leaving the press conference because the reporters ask him a question he doesn't like. You goddamn millennials, get some balls. Baker Mayfield, eat my ass.
I tend to agree with you, but I think they're about to go on a run because they play some pretty bad teams, and they're going to become pretty unbearable. Big pick this week, a big sleeper I'm seeing all over ESPN, and I don't like at all, is none other than the Ghostbuster himself, Sam Darnold. A lot of people are looking at Miami, and they're seeing, wow, he's going to get healthy against Miami. Miami's pass defense has actually been pretty good. They're 9th in the league, believe it or not, mostly because people could just run the ball down their throat. But again, Sam Darnold, $7,300 right now. That's John Connor, $7,300. That's $100 more than Baker Mayfield. That's $200 more than Ryan Tannehill. That's $300 more than Ryan Fitzpatrick. Sam Darnold at $7,300. That's way too rich for my blood. He's my fade of the week quarterback.
Yeah, he should be a Groupon, not at a premium. Here we go. Running back, hot trash player. I have Sony Michel, $5,600. He only mustered 75 yards against Cleveland's defense. Everyone runs on Cleveland. Everyone runs away from Cleveland. Look at Drew Carey. He even got skinny running away from that horrible city. Brandon Williams is back on the field for the Ravens. And by the way, fun fact, no running back has ran for more than 65 yards when he is on the field. And Rex Burkhead is back out there for the Pats. Sony Michel only averages 6.6 PPR. He also has the second fewest yards per carry, after first contact, meaning he goes down like Melissa McCarthy on ice skates. He does not like to get hit. And if any of you take a first 5 picks of yours on a New England running back for here on out, you are dumb.
Yeah, let's take that and then move it to the opposite. This year is an outlier. It's an exception to a rule. I will forever always take Andy Reid's running backs in the first 2 rounds. But this year, got to fade them all. They're just eating each other. $6,000 for LaShawn McCoy against that vaunted Minnesota defense. Way too rich for my blood, man. LaShawn McCoy, $6,000 is fade.
Ugh, agree. Wide receiver hot trash, Terry McLaurin, $6,200 for the Redskins. Who's starting for the Redskins this week? Case Keenum, Dwayne Haskins, Mark Rippon. It doesn't matter who they're starting. 4 fewer catches in his last 4 games, and the Bills have allowed just 2 tight ends to wide receivers. And this is the Bills defense who just got gashed by Philly. I would rather start Terry Funk or Terry Garr than Terry McLaurin. Pass.
Don't know who Terry Garr is, but know who Terry Funk is.
Young Frankenstein, Mr. Mom. No?
You're 40, not 60, bro. What the hell?
She's a well-known actress from the back of the day.
Oh, my God. I would not go anywhere near Odell Beckham Jr. this week. Even though they're trying to force feed him, he's dropping passes, refusing to admit that he's dropping passes. It's going up against a sneaky good Denver secondary. He's going to have Chris Harris. Denver is not – when was the last time – Kevin, when was the last time Denver gave up over 21 points in a game?
God. I'd have to look. But
it was 4 weeks ago. It was 4 weeks ago. Huh?
Was it that Bears game?
4 weeks ago, and they did it on a defensive score. So the last time their defense, Vic Fangio's defense, gave up over 21 points in a game was 5 weeks ago. Beckham is going off at $7,000 still. That's a lot of money for me. You would think that that's super cheap for Beckham. Juju Smith-Schuster's $7,300. Allen Robinson is $7,200. So, there is some value there at Beckham. But right now, Odell Beckham, halfway through the season, how many catches does he have?
28.
36. How many touchdowns does he have?
1.
1 touchdown.
Yeah.
36 catches, 1 touchdown, 450 yards. It's on pace for 900 yards, 70 catches, 900 yards, and 2 touchdowns. $18 million. How you doing?
Especially if you took him with like a 9th or 10th or even 11th overall pick. Imagine that it was your first round pick. Yeesh.
Some people took him as high as 7, man.
Some people are dumb.
Odell Beckham Jr., 7,000. He's projected at 10.9 points by CBS Sports. That's a fade for me, man.
Kyle Rudolph, yet again, is hot trash for me, $3,300. One good game he's had, and that's because Adam Thielen was out. He has 18 PPR in 7 games this year. That's so awful. Even Trump would not take credit for ordering his assassination. That's how bad he is.
That's a shoehorn Epstein?
No, for the Al-Zakar, not Al-Zakar. Who's that other guy that he killed?
Bakar.
Bakar, yeah.
Yeah. Proof. Yeah. Speaking of dying like a dog, Jimmy Graham, LA Chargers. $6,000 for the ghost of Jimmy Graham. Stop trying to make fetch a thing. I thought.
Is that a Halloween reference there, you son of a bitch?
So stop trying to make fetch a thing, man. I thought when Jimmy Graham went to Green Bay, that was absolute perfect. He was going to fit into that Bubba Franks. What was the other? Like, they always had that athletic tight end that put up points, but he's been absolutely useless there. Goes up against a good LA Charger defense. $6,000 for projected 7 points. Pass.
Flex hot trash. I have written here any Chiefs running back.
There you go.
You said, Vikings D, 4 total touchdowns allowed the running backs. One of them was rushing. Only 2 running backs have went over 100 yards rushing against that Vikings D. I'd rather start Michael Cera or Jonah Hill. I just rewatched Superbad. That film is highly overrated. And I'm also 90% sure that Michael Cera pays hookers to take a dump on his chest. Pretty convinced about that.
Hey, I don't kink shame. You got a flex trash?
That's it. That's any Chiefs running back. All 3 of them are terrible. McCoy the fumbler, Darrell Williams, and Damian Williams, all trash this year. Damian Williams is going to drag me down, as well as Kamara in one of my leagues. Yuck. Who do you have as flex?
Miles Sanders. A lot of people on the Miles Sanders bandwagon after 2 big weeks going up against a big-time Chicago defense. $5,800 for Miles Sanders. Way too much money. Projected 7 points. $5,800 for 7 points. Should work for the government.
Boom. Let's do some sleepers. I say tease before. This man is only $4,000. What? If Connor is out, he's the sleeper of the week, Jalen Samuels. Pittsburgh has ran for a touchdown in 4 straight and scoring in those 4 games 6 touchdowns. And it doesn't look like he's going to go. He hasn't practiced or very limited practice all week, Connor. I like Jalen Samuels as my first sleeper.
My first sleeper is Matt Moore, quarterback, Kansas City Chiefs versus Minnesota. Matt Moore, Minnesota is staunch against the run. You cannot run the football. Uh-oh, we got a flag.
You can't throw the football against him either.
$6,500. He's got Travis Kelce. He's got Tyreek Hill, who is fast becoming the most uncoverable wide receiver in the NFL. They have weapons to spare and an unbelievable offense that gets the ball out. Matt Moore, the 21st least expensive quarterback off the board. If Travis Kelce catches that touchdown last week, Matt Moore goes for 24 points.
That was my Tyrell Williams is my second sleeper. If Darius Slay doesn't come back, this is even better. Tyrell Williams has a touchdown in every single one of his games that he has played this year. David Carr, by the way, has completed 75% of passes when not facing pressure. Lions, 28th in QB pressure. Here's a science question for you. How long do you think it takes Matt Patricia's heart to pump a pint of blood through his morbidly obese body? I say 8 hours.
It's less. I know because I do it. Austin Eckler.
Love that guy.
I'm not fading him. Because did you watch the game last week, Kevin?
The Charger one, here and there.
Okay.
I was on Red Zone, so back and forth with the stuff.
I have Red Zone as well, which is why I have to work 2 jobs, maybe 3. So Austin Eckler was lining up in the slot.
Yes.
On the field at the same time that Melvin Gordon was. Music to my absolutely clogged and cauliflowered ears. I cannot believe why more teams don't do this. I've been saying this for 4 years now. Get these players on the field at the same time. In high school, they call this the wing tee. You have 2 slots and you have a tailback. They should be using all of these players in an amorphous fashion because they throw the ball out of the backfield so much. You could have a Julian Edelman, an Odell Beckham, and a Sony Michel in the backfield all running some. They used to call it a flanker. Do you remember the flanker position?
I've heard of it, yeah.
There's no such thing as really a flanker anymore, but that's basically what they used Austin Eckler as. Heavy usage inside the red zone. Only $6,500. still projected at 14 points, and he's still the 6th highest scoring running back this year. You get a running back lining up in wide receiver sets in a PPR. Could you ask for anything better?
Nope. Chris Conley is my third and final sweeper at $4,000. Last 2 games with no D.D. Westbrook, he has notched a $186 and a touchdown. He is also in London. That's a benefit for the Jags. He's facing the Texans, who have given up the most points to wide receivers. That's a benefit. And on a side note, happy birthday belated to Ivanka Trump, the hottest first daughter in the White House. Shout-outs to Helen Taft and Margaret Truman as well.
Okay, fair enough. I think Bush's daughters were pretty freaking hot, to be honest.
They were solid, but I wanted to go
not for nothing.
Ones.
I mean, it's a little weird because she was a little younger, but Malia Obama has grown her into a very, very attractive young lady herself. She likes
not too bad as well.
Likes to toke on the stick too, so maybe you have a shot.
All right.
I like DJ Shark also. I'm
sure.
perfectly fine going with DJ Shark versus Houston. The legend of Gardner Minshew grows. Houston traded for a safety that doesn't fit their system for some reason, and then they were immediately rewarded by having their best player on defense go out for the year with a torn pec. So DJ Shark versus in a divisional game against Houston, $6,400. He's projected 12.5 points. I'll take that.
This week, the Betty girls are taking their 5th win in a row. We're going for the Steelers +2. The Colts on the road.
Now it's time for free money. First pick, you kind of touched on it. I love Green Bay over 48.5. In fact, I already locked it in. Green Bay of late, 5 out of 6 over. Chargers, when they play Green Bay, 4 out of 6 times go over. And what's the most important fact that you neglected to talk about when you talk about Austin Eckler? The Chargers fired Ken Wisenhunt. What does that mean? They burned that playbook and sent it off into a Viking funeral. They're going to open that shit wide up, and they're going to air it out. They have been too conservative. Green Bay does Green Bay. There's going to be a home game for Green Bay in L.A. against the Chargers. I love the over Green Bay Chargers, 48.5. Love it, love it, love it.
Well, we've talked about it twice already. Give me the over. Tampa Bay against Seattle. Seattle's defense is nowhere near as good as people think it is. They're living off of their legacy. Tampa Bay let Matt Schaub throw for 500. Seattle let Matt Schaub throw for 500 yards against them. Kevin talked about how Jameis Winston is Santa Claus in November, just constantly giving away free gifts. This is a big-time 35-30 game, 35-25 game. I think that if it's 52.5, if it's come down, I'm even happier about it. Give me that one.
Pick number 2. I have done yet again another teaser, my friend. I love the Steelers to +7 at home. Nice little rebound. They made it interesting against the Dolphins, but they came back and they're great at home. Again, and as well, the other half, the Jags +7.5 in London. That is their home field. They've got it. I think this is Houston's first time out to London, and it is going to be, I think, a easy cover for the Jags. I may even bet them again separately because they are getting 1.5. But with the teaser, we're getting the 7.5, and we're taking the Pitt, who's getting 1 to +7. Indy does not blow anybody out. They had a lot of trouble, and I was my second loss of last week was the Colts. A lot of trouble beating a rudderless Bronco team last week, only winning by a last-second field goal only because Vinatieri missed a point after. So I think the Colts on the road are good, but they're not going to win by more than 7. And I think the Jags are going to might even win outright. But I'll take the extra 6 points in my second pick of the week. +7 Pitt, +7.5 Jags.
I like that. I wouldn't take either of them straight up, but if you're going to tease them, I think that's a good teaser there. I'm going to take Buffalo 9.5. It opened 10.5. It's come down to 9.5.
Yeah.
Buffalo 9.5. They are a very good team, very good defense going up against a team that has completely bailed, but they've not just bailed on their coach, they bailed on their organization. Did you see the news with Trent Williams? They hid a cancer diagnosis from him. Can you imagine having to play for that organization?
I mean, the lawsuit alone, he's going to make more on that lawsuit than he has in his entire playing days, I think.
I'll tell you what, yeah. And you know what? If you're going to tease Buffalo down to 3.5, and then you can tease Philly. You can get Philly. You'll get 1.5.
What is that again? Yeah, right. Or is it 2.5? Yeah, 1.5. 1.5.
Philly gets 1.5. and Buffalo down to 3.5.
I don't like see the thing with teasing is you tease through the key numbers of 3 and 7. That's not going to hit because it's Buffalo still is at 3.5. You would have teased through that 3. That's the only thing I would. I tell you what I would
cover 9.5. You know.
Yeah, I tell you what I would. You could tease that 37 under up and then go under 43. That I think is going to be a big one. I'll give my last pick. I like Carolina minus 3.5. They got absolutely Shawshanked. 3 sisters in the washroom, man raped against the Niners. And I had the Niners was my other pick for the Patreon picks. 2 coin flips wins in a row for Tennessee. How lucky were they last week? Unbelievable. And here's another fun fact. Teams that lose by 35 or more points the following week, 56% against the spread. Carolina only laying 3.5 at home. Tennessee, what are they doing? Ryan Fitzpatrick went all Ryan, not Ryan Fitzpatrick, I'm sorry. Ryan Tannehill went all Ryan Tannehill last week again. Do not trust them. I think the Panthers bounce back. They yanked McCaffrey. They yanked Olsen to save them from that drubbing. So I think that's going to be a nice bounce back win for them. That is pick number 3. Who do you have?
Opened up, giving 4 points, and now all the action's gone the other direction, and they're only giving 3 points on a primetime game. Give me Bill Belichick. Give me Tom Brady. I know Lamar Jackson is Randall Cunningham 2.0. I know Baltimore's at home, but you're telling me I get to bet Miami? I mean, I get to bet New England, and for the first time this year, it's at 3 points? Yeah, I'll take that.
So I listen to a lot of podcasts about gambling. Surprise. The Sharps pounded that number down because they're saying the Patriots offense ain't what it was. They're barely winning, which, again, the eye test, they look a little sluggish, but they did cover the 12 against Cleveland last night. But here's a stat, and I was 100% ready to take this with you. Here's one for you. Harbaugh off of a bye, 80% straight up, 68% against the spread off a bye. Okay. That scares me a little bit. But I can say I would take the you know what? What the hell? Here's a bonus pick for you people.
New England against the spread this year.
Right.
6-2.
I know.
3-1 on the road.
Right.
Baltimore against the spread this year. 2-5. 0-3 at home.
Not good. I hear you. I just think this may be the one game they get caught their pants down a little bit. Here's what I could do. I could take the Pats from a -3 to a +3 and then take that Tampa over down to 46.5 and make that a bonus pick you're going to get here on this show, kids. That's another nice teaser. That way the Pats are going to probably win and get the bonus 3 as well. I like that. What the hell? That is that, my good man. Kevin the Crowd, here we are. Check us out. Spread the word. Fantasy football, Jibber Jabber. Kevin Go Up to you on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Gerard Herron, where can we find you as well? I guess the same as well. Gerard Herron.
At Gerard Herron on Instagram. Gerard Herron BT on Facebook.
Right on, buddy. Have a good week. We'll talk to you soon. Take care, everybody.
All right. Have a good one, Kevin. Later.